Namaste all of you. So this is JVN Rahul Sharma and this is the third class and the topic is herpes simplex virus. So I have covered the two topics like measles and cytomegalovirus in previous class. So this is the class for covering the herpes simplex virus. So herpes simplex virus and the cytomegalovirus are related to each other and only like minor difference between them. So the morphology of herpes simplex virus is 100 to 200 nanometer in diameter and it is a DNA virus. So herpes simplex virus more commonly known as the herpes are categorized into two types like herpes simplex virus number 1 and herpes simplex type 2. So herpes simplex type 2 basically causative agent or the genital herpes, and type 1 is related to the like the ocular and the oral things. So most commonly herpes type 1 cause the sore throat around the mouth and the lips, sometimes called the fever, blisters or the cold sores. So HS1 can cause the genital herpes also, but most case of the genital herpes are caused by the second type of the herpes simplex virus. So herpes simplex virus type 2, the infected person may have the sore throat around the sores around, basically sore throat, sores around the genital or the rectum. So although HSV2 sores may occur in the location usually are found below the waist. So if I talk about the symptoms, so most people with HSV don't experience any symptoms, but sometimes also have the minor symptoms. So because of the mild symptoms or sign of the herpes simplex virus, so if we are experiencing symptoms of the genital herpes, so these may include like pain or itching, small red bumps, tiny white blisters, ulcers, and scabs. Scab of the skin will crust over the formed scab as the ulcer heal. So if I talk about the causes, so there are two types of herpes simplex virus infection cause the genital herpes. So like herpes simplex virus number 1, this is the type that usually cause cold sores, fever, blisters around the mouth. HSV1 also oftenly spread through the skin to skin contact. It can be spread through the genital area during oral sex. So recurrence is much less frequent than they are with herpes simplex virus number 2 infection. So herpes simplex virus number 2, this is the type that commonly causes genital herpes. This virus is spread through the sexual contact especially, and also through the skin to skin contact. So HSV2 is very common and highly contagious, whether or not you are having an open sore. Okay, so there are some risk factor for having the herpes simplex virus. So like if you are a woman, so women are more likely to have the genital herpes than men, and this virus is sexually transmitted more easily from men to women. So men to women, so then it is from women to men. So have multiple sex partners. So if you are having the extramarital relationship, so you may also get infected with this virus. So each and additional sexual partner raise your risk to being exposed to this virus and called genital herpes. So there are also some complications with this virus like other sexual transmitted infection, newborn infection, bladder problems, meningitis, and rectal inflammation. So these are the problems related to the herpes simplex virus. So if I talk about the prevention of this virus, so basically use or have your partner use a latex condom during every sexual contact. Avoid intercourse if the partner has an outbreak of herpes in genital area or anywhere else than this location. Okay, so this topic is covered fully. So next topic is leprosy. So I am covering two topics in a single class. So next topic is leprosy. So the morphology of leprosy, basically it is caused by the infection with an intercellular pathogen known as the Mycobacterium leprae. So Mycobacterium leprae is strongly acid-fast rod-shaped bacterium. It is a parallel side and rounded ends measuring 1 to 8 micron in length and 0.2 to 0.5 micron in diameter, and it closely resembles the tubercle bacilli. So the symptoms are like the runny nose, dry scalp, eye problem, skin lesions, muscle weakness, reddish skin, smooth shiny diffuse thickening of the facial skin, ear and hand, loss of sensation in fingers, toes, thickening of the peripheral nerves. Okay, the other symptoms the incubation period of the leprosy can affect the people in different ways. An average incubation period is 5 years, and people may also experience the incubation period begin to notice symptoms when the first year or up to the 20 years after the infection. So risk factor of this of the leprosy is like the greater risk factor for the developing leprosy is contact with the another person infected by the leprosy. People who are exposed to a person who has leprosy are 5 to 8 times more likely to develop the leprosy, and the members of the general population leprosy also occur more commonly among the living poverty. Not all people who are infected with the M. leprae develop symptoms. So conditions that are reduced immune function such as malnutrition, other illness, genetic mutation may also increase the risk of the developing leprosy infection. With the HIV, so don't appear to increase the risk of the developing leprosy. Certain genetic factors in the person exposed, especially who have been associated with the developing lepromatous tuberculosis leprosy. So transmission of the leprosy, like transmission of leprosy occur during the close contact with the who are infected. Transmission of leprosy is through the upper respiratory tract. Okay, so leprosy is not sexually transmitted. It is not spread through the pregnancy to their child. So basically for the to the unborn child. So majority of 95% of people who are exposed to this bacteria don't develop leprosy. So casual contact such as shaking hands and sitting to someone with leprosy don't lead to transmission. People are considered non-infectious 72 hours after the starting appropriate multi-drug therapy. So M. leprae and M. lepromatous. So M. leprae, one of the positive agent of the leprosy, and this is the acid-fast bacterium. So M. leprae appeared when a Z-instant is used. Okay. So pathogenesis and types of the leprosy. So there are so many types of leprosy. And this is the more significant. The pathogenesis of this bacteria is more very significant. So like there are the tuberculosis leprosy, borderline tuberculosis leprosy, mild borderline tuberculosis leprosy. Okay, borderline lepromatous leprosy. So symptoms in case of tuberculosis leprosy are the a few flat lesions, some large nose. So some large and numb, some nerve involvement, and it can heal on its own, persist or may progress to a more severe form. And the second one is the borderline tuberculosis leprosy. So lesions similar to the tuberculosis but more numerous, more nerve involvement. So may persist, revert to the tuberculosis or advance to the another form. So mild border leprosy. So reddish plaque formation you will see. Swollen lymph nodes, more nerve involvement are there. Okay, so may regress, persist or progress to the other forms also. So lepromatous leprosy may many lesions with bacteria, hair loss, more severe nerve involved with peripheral nerve thickening, limb weakness, and okay, so it does not regress. So next is the borderline lepromatous leprosy. So many lesions including flat lesions, raised bumps, plaques, nodules, more and numbness. So may persist, regress or progress into the another form. So thank you so much for these topics. I hope you are understanding what I am trying to make you understand. So see you next class. So take care till then, and thank you so much for the attending this class. Namaste. So today I will discuss about the measles virus. So this is J.B.N. Rahul Sharma, and it is the second topic from my syllabus. And so today I will discuss about the measles. So if I talk about the morphology of measles, it is 120 to 250 nanometer in diameter, and it is the RNA virus. So the symptoms of measles are cough, runny nose, fever, chills, sore throat, red eyes, and white spot inside the mouth. So if I talk about the causes of the virus, so this virus belongs to the paramyxo virus family, and this is the known family for all. Like the influenza virus also belong from the same family. So measles virus also infect the respiratory tract first, and it is eventually spread to the other part of the body through the bloodstream. So measles can be spread through the air from the respiratory droplets, small aerosol particles, and an infected person can release the virus into the environment through the coughing or sneezing. So if you are coming into the contact with such patient and with the cough and sneeze of such patients, so you also may get infected. So measles virus also can live outside of the body for longer than you may. Okay. So the common complication of the measles virus are diarrhea, vomiting, which can lead to the dehydration, middle ear infection like that is also called otitis media. So otitis media, which can cause the earache, eye infections, conjunctivitis, that is inflammation of the voice box, that is laryngitis, and the infection of the airway and the lungs such as pneumonia, bronchitis. Okay, croup. So fit, and also you may also get fits caused by fever, that also called febrile seizures. So the prevention for the measles, there are two type of vaccine available in like MMR, measles, mumps, rabies, or rubella vaccine. So MMR vaccine is a 3-in-1 vaccination, can protect you from the measles, mumps, and rubella. So MMR vaccine protect against the same infection as MMR vaccine, and also include the protection against the chickenpox. So the measles vaccine can also be given within the 72 hours of the exposure, and a dose of immune proteins called immunoglobulins taken within the 6 days of the exposure. So the next virus is the cytomegalovirus. So the morphology of cytomegalovirus is 150 to 200 nanometer. It is a DNA virus, and cytomegalovirus is very common virus that infected your body, retains the virus for life. Most people don't know they have cytomegalovirus because it rarely causes problems in healthy people. So if you are pregnant or if your immune system is very weakened, so cytomegalovirus is cause for the concern. Women who develop an active cytomegalovirus infection during pregnancy can pass the virus to their babies. So it also causes the genital infection in babies, so who might then experience symptoms. For people who have weakened immune system, especially who have had an organ, stem cell, bone marrow transplant already. So cytomegalovirus infection can be fatal also. So the symptoms of the cytomegalovirus, basically many healthy people who are infected with cytomegalovirus may experience no symptoms sometimes. So some experience minor symptoms. People who are likely to experience signs and symptoms of the cytomegalovirus, like newborn who became infected with the cytomegalovirus before were born. So it is also called congenital cytomegalovirus. Infants who become infected during the birth or shortly afterwards, so it is called the perinatal cytomegalovirus. So this group includes the babies infected through the breast milk. So number 3 is the people who have weakened immune system, such as those who have had an organ, bone marrow, stem cell transplant. So the causes of cytomegalovirus basically is related to the virus that cause chickenpox, herpes simplex virus, and mononucleosis. So cytomegalovirus may cycle through the periods when it is lie dormant and then reactivates. So if you are healthy, cytomegalovirus mainly stays dormant. When the virus is active in your body, you can pass the virus to the other people. So virus is spread through the fluid, body fluid also, like the blood, urine, saliva, breast milk, tears, semen, vaginal fluids. Casual contact does not transmit the cytomegalovirus. So there are so many ways that that the virus can be transmitted, like touching your eyes inside of the nose, mouth after coming into the contact with the body fluids of infected person, sexual contact with the infected person, breast milk of infected mother, organ, bone marrow, stem cell transplantation, blood transfusion if you are getting from such the infected person. So you may get also the cytomegalovirus. So birth, a infected mother are passing the virus for their offspring. So this is called the genetic cytomegalovirus. So they are following complications, like healthy people really become significant sick from cytomegalovirus. However, people with a weakened immune system may develop cytomegalovirus mononucleosis. This is a condition in which that there are too many white blood cells with a single nucleus. So symptoms include sore throat, swollen gland, swollen tonsil, tiredness, nausea. It can cause a liver inflammation, hepatitis, spleen enlargement also included in this group. Cytomegalovirus mononucleosis is very similar to the classical mononucleosis caused by the Epstein-Barr virus, and mononucleosis is also known as the glandular fever. So other complications of cytomegalovirus are GI tract problem like diarrhea, vomiting, fever, abdominal pain, colon inflammation, blood in feces. So liver function problems, so central nervous system problems, pneumonitis, inflammation of the lungs, encephalitis, inflammation of the brain are the complications of the cytomegalovirus. So if I'll talk about the prevention of this virus, so wash your hand oftenly, use soap and water for the 15 to 20 seconds at least. Avoid contact with the tears and saliva when you kiss a child, basically a suspected child. Instead of the kissing a child on lips, for instance, kiss on the forehead. This is especially important if you are pregnant. So avoid sharing for the food or drinking of the same glass as others. So do avoid the infected utensils and use as utensils. Be careful when dispose the items. You are disposing something, so you should be attentive where you are disposing the items, what you are disposing, or what should be the disposing basically funda for the disposal like infected things. Clean toys and countertops, so clean any surface come in the contact with the children's urine or the saliva. Practice safe sex, so you should use the condoms if you are having the sex with the if you are having the extramarital relationship also, so because it can transmit through the semen and vaginal fluid. So thank you so much for this topic. I hope you are understanding this topic. So if you have any problem related to the virus or bacteriology, so let me know in the next class. So till then, take care. Thank you so much.